watches a little bit later after it's cooled down. So welcome. This is the Sanctuary for Spiritual Living, and we are in Covina, California. We are excited to be doing our summer concert series and having as our guest tonight Jennifer Hart. And Jennifer is one of my dear friends who has sung for us over the years many times. And tonight she is doing birthday celebrations. So be ready for the songs to be all about celebrating life and that journey we take each year around the sun, and be delighted with the good that we have to sing. I want to do a short prayer, and then I'm turning it over to Jennifer, and she can tell you about the background of the music that she's playing and also the great good that she is doing in this world. So I love the fact that you bring joy and you bring love and the expertise on the music that you do. Thank you. I always enjoy that.
Thank you.
So, yes, I've got clapping going on in the audience. All right. So we'll take a moment for prayer, and we just know that God is present right here and now, that it is, in fact, in that divine harmony that is moving in and through this life, this place, this time, right now. It is that song of life, that song of delight, because God is joy, because God is celebrating itself as its creation all the time. And so I know that we are part of that creation, we are part of that joy, we are part of that rhythm of life that is forever beating and moving and vibrating with good. And so I know that today the enthusiasm and the light and the life that is God is moving as our beloved Jennifer, as each one in the audience, as everyone who is watching online, and that the delight of God is happening as we uplift each other, as we bring each other filled with that joy into this day and this time and this moment. And so I give thanks for the good that is happening today. I give thanks for the love and for all that is being done this day. I give thanks for Jennifer having put together this program especially for us and all that means. So I celebrate, and in gratitude I'm releasing this and letting it be, knowing it's great and good and wonderful. And so with joy I let it be, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Jennifer.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so tonight I have put together a show called Birthday Celebrations. And I will first ask, is there anyone in this audience who celebrates their birthday in the month of July? Nobody. Okay. Okay, but they are not here tonight. Okay, so of course, the really big birthday this month is our country. The really big number of 250 years. That's quite an accomplishment and quite a celebration. So the legal separation of the American colonies from Great Britain actually occurred on July 2nd, 1776. And that was the day that the Second Continental Congress voted to approve a resolution of independence, which had been proposed in June. And after voting on that, then they turned their attention to the Declaration of Independence, which was a statement explaining their decision and their grievances, which had been prepared by a committee of 5 with Thomas Jefferson as its principal author. And of course, you know, they gave it to a committee, and when you give something to a committee, you know, it takes longer. So they debated, they revised, they debated, they revised, and finally they approved that document on July 4th, 1776, which is why since then we have celebrated that day as our Independence Day, and we call it the 4th of July. It's a federal holiday, and many Americans celebrate with picnics, barbecues, parade, baseball games, fireworks displays. Since 1916, the people of Brooklyn, New York have celebrated with a Nathan's hot dog eating contest. I believe this year somebody ate like 50 some. Yeah, yikes. There's, of course, also Macy's fireworks over the East River in New York City. That's been televised since 1976. And in Atlanta, Georgia, they have a 10-kilometer Peachtree Road Race. The Boston Pops Orchestra also hosts a music and fireworks show, which is called Pops Goes the Fourth. So, lots of ways to celebrate. Let the drums roll out, let the trumpet call, while the people shout, strike up the band. Hear the cymbals ring, calling one and all, to the martial swing, strike up the band. There is work to be done, to be done. There's a war to be won, to be won. Come, you son of a gun, take your stand. Fall in line, yay, bow. Come along, let's go. Hey, leaders, strike up the band. Thank you, thank you. Now, you know, when I think of those people who started the revolution and the guys who signed those documents, I usually have in my mind older guys, like with white hair and maybe white beards and those, you know, strange clothes they wore back then. But I was very surprised to hear that many of them were in their 20s. Like James Monroe was 18, Aaron Burr was 20, Alexander Hamilton was 21, Betsy Ross, who made the flags, was 24, and James Madison was 25. But I guess they had to be young in order to start a revolution. Yes. Then there was another group of people that were in their 30s and 40s. Thomas Jefferson was 33. John Adams was 40. Paul Revere was 41. George Washington was 44. And Samuel Adams was 53. And then there's one person who was the elder statesman of them all, and that was Benjamin Franklin, who was 70 years old on July 4th, 1776. Now, our birthday is all about our freedom. So here's a song about, it's called Freedom, and it is from the musical Shenandoah. Freedom ain't a state like Maine or Virginia. Freedom ain't to cross some county line. Freedom is a flame that burns within ya. Freedom's in the state of mind. Freedom, 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 freedom. Freedom is an ocean sweeping the nation. Freedom's in the state of mind. Freedom ain't a boat that's leaving without ya. Freedom ain't a place you float to find. Freedom is the how ya think about ya. Freedom's in the state of your mind. Freedom, 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 freedom. Freedom is the how ya think about ya. Freedom's in the state of mind. Now you can't get to freedom by riding on a train. The only way to freedom is right on through your brain. Freedom is the notion sweeping the nation. Freedom is the right of all mankind. Freedom is a body's imagination. Freedom's in the state of mind. Freedom, 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 freedom. Freedom is a notion sweeping the nation. Freedom is a body's imagination. Freedom is a full-time occupation. Freedom's in the state of your mind. Thank you. Now, one of our former presidents, Ronald Reagan, had some nice things to say about freedom, had some interesting things to say. He said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We don't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same thing. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States, where men and women were free. He also said, freedom is one of the deepest and noblest aspirations of the human spirit. No arsenal is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. He also said, people don't start wars, governments do. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty and law. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond thy years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America. Thank you. I am an American. You can see it in my eyes. And on my mouth, I smile a lot. I live in paradise. I am an American. You can hear it in my voice. My origins are not so free, America, my choice. I am an American. You can see it in my heart where I place my hand. Oh, I love this land. It's God's finest work of art. I am an American. You can see it in my soul. It will let me be what I want to be, and being worthy is my goal. So listen while I extol, I am an American. And that was written by Angela Eden in Laguna Beach on July 4th, 2004. Thank you. Okay, so speaking of birthdays, there was one of our early composers who his baptismal certificate says he was born on July 3rd, but his family always maintained that he was born on July 4th, and he even wrote in a song that he was born on the 4th of July. And I don't care. I mean, what's 24 hours? You know, I'm just glad he was born. And he gave us, I don't know, about 1,500 songs, I think, in his life. His initials are GMC. Who would that be? George M. Cohan. And he became an entertainer, a playwright, a composer, a lyricist, an actor, a singer, a dancer, a director, and a theatrical producer. And he wrote more than 50 shows and published more than 1,500 songs during his lifetime. He was known as the man who owned Broadway in the decade before World War I. His parents were traveling vaudeville performers, and about as soon as he could walk and talk, he was singing and dancing with them on stage. And he joined the family vaudeville act called the Four Cohans: Dad, Mom, and older sister Josie, and then little Georgie. He learned to play the violin at age 8, and in his teens he was well known as one of vaudeville's best male dancers. He started writing original skits and songs for the family act, and soon he began selling those to a national publisher at age 15. At age 23, he directed and produced his first Broadway musical, and when he was 26, his first big Broadway hit was the show Little Johnny Jones, which gave us several of his wonderful songs. So here's some patriotic songs from George M. Cohan. Give my regards to Broadway, remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with that old-time throng. Give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Now you're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should aught acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on that grand old flag. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam's, born on the 4th of July. I got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, he's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the ponies. I am a Yankee Doodle, I am a Yankee Doodle, I am a Yankee Doodle joy. Happy birthday to George M. Cohan. Thank you. Now, there was another one of our very early composers who was also born on the 4th of July, this one in 1826 in Lawrenceville, Pennsylvania. He was the 9th of 10 children, and he had 3 older sisters and 6 older brothers who doted on him. His initials are SF. Stephen Foster. Very good. He taught himself to play the clarinet, the violin, the guitar, the flute, and the piano. And when he was in his teens, he and his brothers and sisters liked to invite kids from the town to come over. And one of their favorite things to do was to sing songs. So he got his start writing songs for that group. At age 20, he moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, became a bookkeeper for his brother's steamship company, and very soon he was selling his songs there to a local music publisher, and he had his first big hit with this. Oh, I came from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for to see. Now, I don't think he was a very sound mind when he wrote these coming lyrics, because they don't make much sense. It rained all night the day I left. The weather, it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Everybody now. Oh, Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me, 'cause I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Okay. He tried to make a living as a professional songwriter, and he's considered a pioneer in that respect because that field didn't really not exist yet. So there were very poor provisions for music copyright and composer royalties at that time. So he saw very little of the profits which his works generated for sheet music publishers. Multiple publishers often printed their own competing editions of his tune and paid him nothing. Like for that Oh Susanna song, in his lifetime he made $100 on that song. And many of the composers at that time performed their own songs. They were also performers as well as songwriters. He was not a performer, so he could not get people to know his songs that way. His only real income was the royalty he earned on sheet music sales, which during his lifetime amounted to $15,091.08. Today they would be worth millions. Now, in 1864, he was trying really hard to get into Broadway, so he was living in a New York Theater District hotel. He became ill with a fever. He was in his bed for several days. Then he tried to get up to call a chambermaid. He fell. He hit his head on the wash basin next to his bed. They found him still alive but lying in a pool of blood. And of course, in those days, there were no transfusions or antibiotics, and sadly, he passed away 3 days later at the age of 37 with 38 cents in his pocket. So, no, not that I know of. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to do a little more research to find that out. I don't, as far as I know, I don't think he was. Here's another of his beautiful songs. Happy birthday to Stephen Foster. Thank you. So there is also another country which celebrates its birthday this month. In fact, they celebrated their birthday yesterday, July 14. And their celebrations go back to 1789, and ours was 1776, so our countries are almost the same age. Does anybody know who that country is? Here's a hint. It's called the Bastille Day. So, July 14 is the anniversary of the storming of the Bastille, and that, of course, was in France, and that is what they consider the symbol of the uprising of the modern nation. So on July 14, the oldest and largest regular military parade in Europe is held on the morning of July 14 on the Champs-Élysées Avenue in Paris, in front of the Republic, the President of the Republic, French officials, and foreign guests. So, to celebrate France's birthday, I would like to sing a song written by that wonderful French chanteuse, Edith Piaf. Hold me close and hold me fast, this magic spell you cast, this is la vie en rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs, and though I close my eyes, I see la vie en rose. When you press me to your heart, I am in a world apart, a world where roses bloom, And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be la vie en rose. Quand il me porte dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui bat. Merci beaucoup. Okay, does anybody remember what happened on July 20th, 1969? Yes, as far as we know, the first human being walked on the moon on that day. And who was that first human being? Neil Armstrong, that's right. And his first words after stepping on the moon was, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." They were televised to Earth and heard by millions. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, won't you kiss me? Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. 'Cause you are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Thank you. Okay, there were 3 very famous male vocalists who were all born on July 8th. And the first one was born in 1914 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They named him William Clarence Eckstein. So, anybody ever heard of him? Okay, they changed his first name to Billy Eckstein. Also was known as Mr. B. Yes, you know him? Okay, good. Glad somebody does. He had a very smooth baritone voice and a very distinctive vibrato. And he was the first romantic black male in popular music. He really wanted to go into football, but he broke his collarbone, so then he turned his attention to music. Some of his big hits, Prisoner of Love, My Foolish Heart, I Apologize, and Stormy Monday Blues. He began singing at the age of 7 and entered many amateur talent shows. He formed his own big band and made it a fountainhead for young musicians who would reshape jazz by the end of the decade, including Dizzy Gillespie, Dexter Gordon, Miles Davis, Art Blakey, Charlie Parker, and Fats Navarro. So here is a tune that was a big hit for Billy Eckstein. The night is like a lovely tune Beware, my foolish heart, how white the ever-constant moon. Take care, my foolish heart, there's a line between love and fascination that's hard to see on an evening such as this, for they both give the very same sensation when you're lost in the magic of a kiss. His lips are much too close to mine. Beware, my foolish heart. But should our eager lips combine, then let the fire start. For this time it isn't fascination or a dream that will fade and fall apart. It's love. This time it's love, my foolish heart. Thank you. Okay, the second male vocalist who was born on July 8th was born in 1932 in the Bronx, New York, to Italian immigrant parents. They named him Gennaro Luigi Vitaliano. I'm sure you've never heard of that singer, right? No. That didn't look good on the marquee, so he shortened it a little bit. What would you think would be a good Americanized name for Gennaro? His initials are JV. Gennaro, well, he translated that into Jerry. Jerry? Very Vale, that's right. Now, at age 11, he took a job of shining shoes in a barber shop, and he sang to his customers while he shined their shoes. The barber liked his voice, and he sent him to a vocal coach, which helped him progress from school musicals to New York City nightclubs. He changed his name and began recording demonstration discs for Columbia Records, and when their A&R person, Mitch Miller, heard his high tenor voice, he signed him to his own recording contract. His first big hit was in 1953, You Can Never Give Me Back My Heart. I don't know that song. His biggest hit was You Don't Know Me. I do know that one. And his signature song was Al Di La. Now, his mother, when he was growing up, his mother would sing to him all the old Italian songs. So he kept trying to get the record executives to let him make a record of all those old Italian songs. And the record executives kept saying, no, it won't sell. So finally they said, okay, make it. And then it sold so well, they said, okay, now you have to make another one. He kept recording through the 60s, and then he was popular in clubs and on television through the 70s and 80s, and he passed in 2014 at age 83. So here is Jerry Vale's signature song. Al-Ilah means you are far above me, very far. Al-Ilah, as distant as the lovely evening star. When you walk, flowers bloom. When you smile, all the gloom turns to sunshine. And my heart opens wide. When you're gone, it fades inside, seems to have died. Al-Ilah, I wondered as I drifted where you were. Al-Ilah, the fog around me lifted, and there you were. In the kiss that you gave was the love I had saved for a lifetime. Then I knew all of you was completely mine. All of you was mine. You were completely mine. Thank you. Okay. And what movie was that? Roman Adventure. Okay, I'll have to look that up. Okay, the third male vocalist, who was born on July 8th, was born in 1935 in Brooklyn, New York, and they named him Sidney Leibowitz. I'm sure you've never heard of that singer either. No. He was an actor and a singer, and he was best known as a member of a duo with his wife. Now, when he changed his name, he kept his initials SL. So Sidney got changed into Steve Lawrence. And of course, the duo was Steve and Edie. Yes. He was born into a Jewish family. His father was a cantor and a house painter. And in the late 50s and 60s, he had, when he was 20 years old, he had hits with Go Away Little Girl, Pretty Blue Eyes, Footsteps, Portrait of My Love, and Party Doll. In the late 50s, he was drafted into the Army, and he served as the official vocal soloist for the U.S. Army Band in Washington, D.C. He married Edie Gourmet in 1957. They had 2 sons. Now, much of his success centered on nightclubs and musical stage. But he also was an actor on some TV shows like The Carol Burnett Show, Julie Andrews Hour, Murder, She Wrote, Gilmore Girls, and CSI. In 1965, he had a variety show called The Steve Lawrence Show. And in 68, he and Gourmet appeared together in a Broadway show called Golden Rainbow. And the memorable song from that is I've Gotta Be Me. In 1980, he was in the Blues Brothers. And in 1999, he was the father of Fran Fine in The Nanny. He has earned many awards, an Emmy for an Irving Berlin show and another Emmy for a tribute to George Gershwin. They won the Las Vegas Entertainment Award 4 times. He got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Songwriters Hall of Fame. And some of his famous hits, Portrait of My Love, Go Away Little Girl, More, Bewitched, I Will Wait for You, and Mama a Rainbow, as well as this one. This is from Golden Rainbow. Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I've got to be me. I've got to be me. What else can I be but what I am? Oh, I want to live, not merely survive. And I won't give up this dream that keeps me alive. I've got to be me. I've got to be me. The dream that I see makes me what I am. That faraway prize, a world of success, it's waiting for me if I heed the call. I won't settle down. I won't settle for less. As long as there's half a chance that I can have it all. Oh, I'll go it alone if that's how it must be. 'Cause I can't be right for anyone else if I'm not right for me. I've got to be free. I've got to be free. Daring to try to do it or die. I've got to be me. Thank you. It's a good New Thought song, huh? Yes. Yes, Sammy Davis had a bigger hit on it than Steve Lawrence did. Okay, a very important person in the music theater was born on July 12th, 1895 in New York City. His grandfather was a German theater impresario. His father was a theater manager and a vaudeville producer. But even though they were both in the arts, they did not want this little boy to be in the arts. They wanted him to become an attorney. Maybe they wanted him to make some money or have a stable career or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so he was a dutiful son and he went to Columbia Law School. But then his father died when he was 19. So bam, out of law school and into the theater he went. And he had, in the next 40 years, he teamed with many other composers to become one of the most important book writers in Broadway history. He made the story, not the songs or the stars, central to the musical and brought musical theater to its full maturity as an art form. He was so important to the music theater business that when he died, the lights in Times Square were turned off for 3 minutes as a tribute to him. He had a very successful collaboration with Jerome Kern. And in 1927, they had their biggest hit in Showboat. I'm sure you've all seen Showboat. Yes. It's considered one of the masterpieces of American musical theater because it was a musical play as distinguished from a musical comedy. He also, Oscar Hammerstein, wrote the lyrics for Jerome Kern's very last Broadway show called Very Warm for May. Have any of you ever seen that? Probably not, because it was a big flop. The second night on Broadway, there were only 22 people in the audience. But there is one song that has lasted all these years, and I'm sure you remember that song. You are the promised kiss of springtime, makes the lonely winter seem long. And you are the breathless hush of evening, trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star, the dearest things I know, that's what you are. And someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday I will know that moment divine when all the things you are mine. Thank you. I did tell you his name, didn't I? Okay, his grandfather was Oscar Hammerstein the First. His father was William Hammerstein. So this person I'm telling you about is Oscar Hammerstein the Second. So he also, he co-wrote 850 songs. He won 8 Tony Awards, 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Song. He collaborated with Vincent Yeomans, Rudolf Frimmel, and Sigmund Romberg, but his most successful and sustained collaboration was with a composer whose initials are R.R. Who's that? Richard Rodgers, yes. So Richard Rodgers had been writing with Lorenz Hart, but Lorenz really liked to get in the sauce, and so he was becoming unreliable as a writing partner. So when Richard Rodgers was asked to do a musical about a play called Green Grow the Lilacs in 1943, he asked Oscar Hammerstein II to do the lyrics for him. Well, that show turned into Oklahoma. Very, very, very successful. They also wrote Carousel, South Pacific, The King and I, Allegro, Me and Juliet, Pipe Dream, Flower Drum Song, a musical film called State Fair, and probably their most famous was The Sound of Music, with songs like Old Man River, Can't Help Lovin' That Man, Make Believe, People Will Say We're in Love, Oklahoma, Some Enchanted Evening, Getting to Know You, Shall We Dance, and Climb Every Mountain. Oscar Hammerstein II died of stomach cancer 9 months after the opening of The Sound of Music in 1960 at age 65. And as I said, the lights of Times Square were turned off for 3 minutes. Okay, so here's a couple of songs from Oklahoma. And if you know them, please sing them with me. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All those cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by, but a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. Chicks and ducks and geese better scurry when I take you out in the Surrey, when I take you out in the Surrey with the fringe on top. Watch that fringe and see how it flutters when I give them high-stepping strutters. Nosy pokes will peek through the shutters and their eyes will pop. The wheels are yellow, the upholstery's brown, the dashboard's genuine leather. With eyes and glass curtains you can roll right down, in case there's a change in the weather. Two bright side lights winking and blinking, ain't no finer rig I'm a-thinking. You can keep your rig if you're thinking that I'd care to swap for that shiny little Surrey with the fringe on the top. Thank you. And here's a wonderful song from South Pacific, a song that's all full of hope. Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger. You may see a stranger across a crowded room. Somehow you know even then, that somewhere you'll see him again and again. Some enchanted evening, someone will be laughing. You may hear him laughing across a crowded room. And night after night, as strange as it seems, the sound of his laughter will sing in your dreams. Now who can explain it? Who can tell you why? Fools will give you reasons, but wise men, they'll never try. Some enchanted evening, when you find your true love, when you hear him call you across a crowded room, then fly to his side and make him your own. Or all through your life you may dream all alone. Now once you have found him, never let him go. Once you have found him, never let him go. Thank you. So here's a song from State Fair that won an Oscar for Best Song, Best Original Song in 1945. I'm as restless as a willow in a windstorm. I'm jumpy as a puppet on a string. I'd say that I had spring fever, but I know it isn't spring. I'm starry-eyed and vaguely discontented, like a nightingale without a song to sing. Why should I have spring fever when it isn't even spring? I keep wishing I were somewhere else, walking down a strange new street, hearing words that I have never heard from that man that I have yet to meet. I'm busy as a spider spin a daydream. I'm giddy as a baby on a swing. I haven't seen a crocus or a rosebud or a robin on a wing, but I feel so gay in a melancholy way that it might as well be spring. It might as well be spring. Thank you. Okay, finally a girl. It's been all guys so far, and finally a girl born on July 15, 1946 in Tucson, Arizona. She became a singer, a songwriter, a musician, a record producer, and an actress. Her initials are L.R. Born in 1946. She had a 4-decade career in a variety of genres. She was called the Queen of Rock, and she was the highest paid woman in rock. Linda Ronstadt, that's right. Then, when she got kind of tired of being doing rock and roll, she decided she wanted to star in a Broadway show. So she got herself a vocal coach, happens to be the same one that I have worked with, and she starred in Pirates of Penzance. And that vocal coach was able to help her change her singing style from rock and roll to be able to carry a Broadway show. Then after that, she decided she wanted to record a bunch of standards, Great American Songbook songs. So she got with one of the best arrangers in the business, Nelson Riddle, and they made 3 very successful albums, CDs, whatever they were at that time. Then she also dabbled in country, and she had a trio album, a couple of them, with Dolly Parton and Emmylou Harris. And after that, she made a traditional Mexican folk song album as a tribute to her family. So she has released over 30 solo albums and lent her voice to over 120 albums around the world. She's nominated for 27 Grammy Awards, and she won 11. Some of her rock and roll hits: You're No Good, Blue Bayou, When Will I Be Loved, Desperado, Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me, It's So Easy, Silver Threads and Golden Needles. She also had a duet with Aaron Neville called Don't Know Much. And then with Nelson Riddle, she recorded things like I Don't Stand a Ghost of a Chance, What's New, I've Got a Crush on You, You Took Advantage of Me, When You Wish Upon a Star, Straighten Up and Fly Right, lots more. So, and she is still alive, living in the Bay Area, but she has Parkinson's, so she's no longer singing. Feel so bad, I got a worried mind. I'm so lonesome all of the time. Since I left my baby behind on Blue Bayou. saving nickels, saving dimes, working till that sun don't shine, looking forward to happier times on Blue Bayou. I'm going back someday, come what may, to Blue Bayou, where the folks are fine and the world is mine on Blue Bayou, where the fishing boats with their sails afloat. If I could only see that familiar sunrise through sleepy eyes, how happy I'd be. Well, I'll never be blue, my dreams come true on Blue Bayou, Blue Bayou, Blue Bayou, my Blue Bayou. Thank you. How glad the many millions of Toms and Dicks and Williams would be to capture me. But you had such persistence, you wore down my resistance. I fell, and it was swell. You're my big and brave and handsome Romeo. How I won you, I will never, never know. It's not that you're attractive, but oh, my heart grew active when you came into view. I've got a crush on you, sweetie pie, all the day and night time. Hear me sigh, I never had the least notion that I could fall with so much emotion. Could you coo? Could you care for a cunning cottage that we could share? The world will pardon my mush, 'cause I've got a crush, my baby, on you. Thank you. Okay. One more person I want to tell you about. He was born on July 30, 1941, in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So he is a Canadian singer, songwriter, and an actor of Lebanese origin. He became a naturalized citizen U.S. citizen in 1990. He first became famous as his initials are P.A. He first became famous as a teen idol in the late 50s and 60s with hits like Diana, Lonely Boy, and Put Your Head on My Shoulder. And his name is Paul Anka, of course. Then he went on to write such well-known music as The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson theme. Wow, that played for a long time and every night of the week, yes. Then he wrote also Tom Jones' biggest hit called She's a Lady. And he also wrote Frank Sinatra's signature song, started out to be a French song. And Paul Anka wrote the English lyrics to it. Did you know that? No. Okay. And now the end is near. As I face the final curtain, my friends, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, oh, but more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets? Now, there's been a few, but then again, too few to mention. I just did what I had to do. I saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course and each careful step along the byway, but more, much more than this, always had to do it my way. Well, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off a little more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up, I spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall, and I did it my way. Well, I've loved and I've laughed and I've cried. Sure had my share of losing. And now as tears subside, I find it all so very amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. No, no, not me. Always had to do it my way. For what is a woman? What has she got? If not herself, then she has not to say the things she truly feels. Not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and I did it my way. Thank you, thank you. I want to thank you all for being here, and those people out there in Radio Land, thank you for being here. Out in Facebook Land. Facebook Land, yes. So I hope you've enjoyed my show tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you learned a few things about some of these people. And I would like to just finish with a couple more of Oscar Hammerstein II's songs. Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. A dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, 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 goodbye. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oops.
What a delight. And just personally, it's like you just went through my life, because Climb Every Mountain was the theme for me when I became the presiding officer in Job's Daughters at 17. And my mother's theme song that she wanted at her funeral was My Way.
Oh.
Sung exactly like you did it, at the woman's point of view. Plus so many others that we have enjoyed. thank you for the background that you always bring. I am so delighted to learn from you. It's always a delight.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. We are going to take, yes, we are going to take an offering. We're going to do it at the door on the way out. And I would like to encourage you to take a look at her table. She brought CDs. You can actually enjoy her at home. And so I'm inviting you to consider that as a way of supporting her, because if we want art in our world, we have to be willing to support the artist so that they're not making, how much was that? $1,500 in a whole lifetime?
$1,591.
Yeah, don't forget the 91.
And 8
okay.
cents. 8 cents.
And 8 cents, which might have gone further then than it does now. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Thank you.